Well, good morning. Breakfast at the Broker every Tuesday at 9 a.m. or thereabouts. We've gone through all these transitions, all these interviews, almost 4 years of interviews. You can find us on podcast everywhere where podcasts are shown, whether it's Apple, Spotify, all those. Um, and we hope that you like our shows. If love to get some feedback on guests that you would like to see and such. But we do have a great guest. So here it goes. And now, by way of Gainesville, Florida, he's an associate broker of Matchmake Realty. He was recently honored as the National Association of Realtors 30 Under 30 for 2021. He's a graduate of the University of Florida, majoring in business management and minoring in real estate. He continues to give back to Family Promise of Gainesville, helping homeless children in Gainesville. He is the vice president for Gainesville Alachua County Association of Realtors. He's a multi-million-dollar producer. He treats his clients like family, and he likes cooking, traveling. I'm not sure this sounds like a Tinder profile. Stand up and make some noise for Adam Gator Nation Gurske.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Now the pressure's on.
No, there's no pressure. It was interesting. People ask why you get involved in association, why you go to GARD, Great American Realtor Days, up in Tallahassee. What is it that because you're a relatively young guy, and getting in the business, you already been in the business 10 years, so but you're still a young guy, right? And why is it what propelled you to really get involved in the association work?
So I am unlike most people in that I grew up in the business, literally. My mother is a local association CEO. So I was really born into this business. However, I was never going to be a realtor. I started out at University of Florida. I was going to be an attorney. And as many kids do, they change majors. And then I spent a couple years and I was going to be a drug and alcohol counselor. And here I am. So switch paths.
Well, actually, it's kind of the same thing, whether you're a drug and alcohol counselor or you're counseling for your clients. It's pretty much the same.
It is.
Same skill sets anyway.
Absolutely. So I was in college and a big broker asked me to come work for them in property management and got involved there. And before I knew it, fast forward, I was a realtor. And having grown up in the business, I got to see so many people, and being involved got you to network and know so many people, both as realtors and brokers, but also the business partners. And so jumped right in and never looked back. So, really got involved because I saw the value growing up, and I saw how many successful brokers had been successful by being involved. And so it was very important to me. And so I jumped right in and now been on about every single committee you could be on. And, am very involved. And like you said, I'm vice president for our local association. So looking forward to that.
Amazing. I saw you're also on the Housing Opportunity Committee for the National Association of Realtors. And obviously affordable housing is a main issue, that we've kind of lobbied, for the last couple of years through the petitions with the Florida Realtors, and then going into GARD and Hometown Heroes program. Tell us a little bit about, how we're going to correct this affordable housing, because it seems like it's widespread. It's not localized to South Florida, North Florida, Central Florida. It seems like it's pretty much spreading throughout the country, and just houses are not affordable anymore. If you didn't buy one within the last 2 years, or prior, you're not going to be able to afford one.
Yeah, so I can speak to it certainly locally here. We're in the same problem that everybody seems to be, that we just, we don't have enough houses even for people with, a good or moderate income. And so affordable housing is certainly becoming more and more and more a crisis. And so what we're doing here locally is trying to at least lessen some of the regulations and incentivize developers and really partner with the private sector, because as many of us know, the government doesn't always do a great job at this because it's just not their, expertise. So for instance, here in town, we're working on really incentivizing accessory dwelling units on property, because just like a lot of places, we don't have the land to make it affordable. And so even to develop it is tough. And so we've got a lot of different nonprofits. I'm on the board for one. And so we, as a small operation, have purchased several units and are making them affordable long-term as rentals. But as you mentioned, I was at Guard, and certainly I'm also on the Florida Realtors Attainable Workforce Committee, Workforce Housing Committee. And so we're doing the same thing of saying, what do we do? So the Hometown Heroes program is trying to also help, frontline workers. And, I just saw that they're also trying to add to that bill an exemption for property taxes to help there as well, because, it's just tough. But what do you do when from the private, the same argument we have, private property rights, and, certainly from the individual seller, anybody wants the most money they possibly can get. And you cannot blame them. And certainly that is our job to, get them the most money. So even at the NAR call I was on the other day, trying to find this balance between over regulating, some people will say, well, let's offer rent controls, which gets real controversial real fast, or even trying to make owner occupant have a first chance, much like when you're purchasing a foreclosure. But those types of things are a hard pill for many to swallow. So trying to work around that and say, okay, let's try to incentivize developers is something that we're doing here locally.
Yeah, it's really kind of tough. I mean, we've thought about, incentivizing even sellers, right? So like, incentivizing sellers to potentially, if they take, a either a lesser offer, give them some kind of tax breaks or something like that, to really get people in the door. Because, you know, I mean, I could speak locally as well. In Boca, in the last 30 days of closings, I did a search a couple weeks ago. In the last 30 days of closing, the average sale price was 1.3 million. I mean, that's not the median sale price, but that was the average, right? So, I mean, when you're looking at it, it's just, it's just become not affordable.
Right.
And, how are the teachers, the frontline workers, the police, the firefighters, the owners of small businesses, how are they going to afford and thrive on, being able to, where their housing is 60-70% of their income. It's definitely a crisis. We've come to this point, and hope that we can get through that Hometown Heroes program, and then potentially some more. For those listening, ship and sale programs are still very good. They still should be. People should still be looking in those municipalities that offer those, and can you continue to do that. When I got into the association, kind of volunteering and such, what I guess the biggest surprise I had was, I always thought it was people like, HOA presidents and HOA vice presidents or whatever. It was like people that didn't have anything else to do, so they decided to get into the association, and they're like, oh, I'll just do this and we'll make important decisions for all realtors. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth, because some of the most successful agents and or brokers are involved in leadership, involved in association level, whether it's local, state, or national. I guess incentive is the wrong one, but what's the reason? Why would someone who is a top producer doing really, really well, why should they be involved in their local association or state or national?
So I think, sometimes we don't look at one another as customers, but really we are one another's customers. And so, being in the business, your reputation is everything, first of all. But, those relationships that you're going to form are going to last a lifetime. And for us locally here, we're a small association. And so for me, the benefit certainly locally is I could pick up the phone to virtually any broker in town and have a conversation with them. And anytime a tough situation comes up in a transaction, which we know is more often than not, it's nice to be able to fall back on the relationship. And especially depending what market you're in, of course, now we're in a crazy seller's market, but it's also nice, they look at a contract from me, they know me. They know that things are going to go as smoothly as they possibly can. So there's value there. And also just learning from one another. I can't say that enough. You get into this business and you get licensed and you hop in. And even me, with that nice little bio with a background in real estate, so to speak, from the University of Florida, I hopped in and knew nothing. And so those relationships are the key to getting you to know how to operate a business. So I just cannot say enough how important it is. And it really has added, because like you said, yes, you give time and people think, well, why would I do that? But I wouldn't stay involved and continue to get further involved if there wasn't value.
I keep harping on this, and to some people, it resonates, and to other people doesn't. But this, money itself, right, has no really intrinsic value, right? It's just a piece of paper, right? But it funds the things that you want to do. So you have to have money, and you have to be able to make money. But you're in the real estate business, when you ask most people, they're, why are you in the real estate business? Most of the people say, oh, I either had a bad experience with a realtor and I don't want people to have that same kind of experience. So I want to help people, and the other reason obviously is just flat out to help people. I want to help people, buy and sell homes because I think I'm very good at it. But the problem that I see, and maybe the objective that I have is to make a difference, right? We're all here, we could all have if I dedicated all my time to my business, would my business succeed more than it is currently? Absolutely. But would it be more rewarding? Absolutely not. So, it's about having significance, being able to do something that is bigger than yourself, helping an industry that needs helping, and all the while making lifelong friends, collaborating with your colleagues, and not competing against your colleagues. So it's so important to really get involved. And it doesn't have to be, not everyone wants to be president of the association or vice president, like you said, or I'm the treasurer. Like, not everyone has to be that, but serve on a committee. If your passion is professional standards or grievance or RPAC or whatever it may be, affordable housing, that's going to help your clients. I mean, at Guard, we got to sit down with representatives, House of Representatives at state level, right? And in May, we'll get to sit down with U.S. House of Representatives. Are you going to President's Circle?
I am not.
Okay. So this will be
I will
first.
miss you in the Bahamas.
I will. This will be my first President's Circle, and you get an opportunity to really see, a lot of people on a more individual basis. And I encourage people, whether it's real estate or something, or community work, or some degree of community outreach, like you're on Family Promise in Gainesville. I donate to Children's Miracle Network. I continue with the Jewish Federation and a lot of other things that we do. Do something bigger than yourself, because it's so much more rewarding than putting money in your bank account. I don't care what anyone says. You need things that are going to be bigger than yourself and leaving a legacy.
And I will say, just to tag onto that, so Family Promise, I've been on the board now for 8 years. I was president. I'm now treasurer, and I certainly did not get on it for business. But I do tell people now, having been on there for so many years and building the relationships, that now it is a fairly significant part of my business. So I started, from a genuine place of, this is a good organization, I want to help. And through the years, people saw that, and then it builds. And now it has become a referral source, because people know, and I give so much of my time and donate commission when we buy things as Family Promise, that it has led to other business. So don't look at things and go, okay, again, it's just going to consume time, because it's rewarding back to you And those are the things that matter, So yes, we can all make money. And I agree with you. Some days I tell myself more than others, I could double my business if I didn't have all of the other noise, so to speak. But it's a holistic approach and I enjoy it. And it gives back and it fills up the bucket. And so that's what's important.
Yeah. So I mean, we talk about association leadership. Obviously, you're a family born and into it. I am as well. Second generation realtor. So, continue to do that. Let's talk a little bit about, Gainesville in general, right? So, how's your market? What's your average sale price? And, who are you seeing moving there?
So our market is just about like everybody else's. We do not have enough houses to sell. And so virtually every listing that pops up, and we have a very, very short inventory, goes very quickly, goes multiple offers. And, it's a tough market to be a buyer. And, just like everywhere else, it's also a tough market to be a seller because even though we're a little bit of a carve out in Florida, so we're not heavy in snowbirds, even international, not in the same sense that South Florida is. But we do certainly have the University of Florida. So that is a big attraction, both for faculty members, and then we've got a lot of research happening in ancillary fields and medical. So that's the driving industry, where we see people coming here. And by the nature of that work, it's a transient population, a lot of turnover. And the rental market is very strong also for that reason, because a lot of people might only be here for 2, 3, 4 years. So that keeps the economy going. And so those are a lot of our buyers. So we don't, like I said, see the maybe typical, I'm, in New Jersey and it's snowing and I want to move to Florida. We're also not necessarily the postcard. I look at the picture behind you. We're not coastal. We're not palm trees. We do have the springs, which are amazing. And that's certainly a draw for folks, but not necessarily if I'm in Canada where I'm thinking of Florida, so to speak.
What is it? The Itchatuckney?
Yep. Itchatuckney is one of them.
It's beautiful.
It is.
I mean, if for those people that are in Florida or visiting Florida, and you have an opportunity to go to those springs, to go on it's basically a natural lazy river. You take a tube down this, and it is just crystal clear, gorgeous, and just nature as it's supposed to be. It's beautiful.
Yep. And we still do have, raw vacant land, which is more and more rare as you get, really Orlando south. So that is a nice thing. We have several rural areas and we still sell quite a bit of vacant land and still have a bunch of things developing. And as far as price, somewhere around 350, 375, and going up.
Where was it 2 years ago, pre-pandemic?
What was that?
I said, where was the average sale price pre-pandemic? Just an estimate. I'm not gonna
probably 3. It has jumped considerably.
So it's about 25%.
Yeah. And so really, in this market, your typical 3-2 house, you're really starting about 300. And that's a tough thing too, because, you work with buyers and everybody's got different needs and everybody's got different abilities. And it's just tough because, like I said earlier, kind of your average working person, it's a little bit of a tough market to be in. So we shall see where we're going.
You must have a lot of I don't know, quasi investors, parents buying their kid a place while they're going to UF for 3-4 years, as you said.
That's a big market for us. So
yeah.
Just in a few days here, freshmen will get acceptance letters. And so a lot of parents start to look and go, okay, what am I going to pay for 4 years if their child is on track, 5 years if they're not so on track, and longer if they're going to grad school. So for most people, if they're, have the financial wherewithal, it makes more sense to invest because we are such a strong rental market that some people will purchase it for their son or daughter, and then they'll just hang on to it and keep it as an investment property. So that it, stays a good investment because the rental market's so strong here. I mean, we have just as few rentals as we have houses for sale. And when I say rentals here, most of ours are long-term. We do not do a lot of short-term as much of the state does, becoming more and more popular because just like anywhere, any of us travel and we'd rather stay at an Airbnb, but still not a huge market up here.
So how do you market to those people getting acceptance letters, right? Like, do you have creative marketing strategies to, because, I'm thinking like, so my daughter's a junior, right? And the talk of always is, everyone wants to go to UF. If they want to go to a state school, UF's, that's it, and my daughter's consumed, for, doing really well and everything. And, having to pay for ACT tutors and all that kind of stuff, right? To get in there. So when they finally get in, I think freshmen usually stay on campus for the first year, but it's after that, right? How do you market to them?
Yeah, so that goes back to being involved at the state association. So because the answer is I could do better, like many of us, you could do better. But building those relationships, because we have so many kids coming from South Florida. So building the relationships with the realtors to say, hey, listen, we're a resource. And it is changing a little bit. They're building better dorms and, either modernizing or tearing down some of the old dorms, but many students, it is not desirable to live on campus. So, and there's no requirement to live on campus. So yes, some will do for the first year, but that's not required. So a lot of them live off campus. And again, it goes back to what am I going to pay in rent? Some of these places are $1,000 for a bedroom. So do I want to do that, or, do I want to get into something off campus? And even the dorms are very expensive. So, if you're looking and saying, hey, if I could at least break even by having the house or a condo, because we certainly have plenty of those around town, that's definitely desirable, both for the parent and also for the student.
Great. What are the conversations that you're having, because this isn't, just UF, right? So it's it happens to be in your local area, but in any of the colleges across the country, these conversations are happening where the parents are saying, hey, should I put my kid in a dorm, or should I get, the kid with 3 other roommates? I'll buy the house, get them to pay the rent, and maybe it'll appreciate by the 3-4 years it's done, and then I'll be able to sell it for a little bit more than I purchased it for.
Yeah, so I mean, just as you said, to me it is a no-brainer because I'm going to pay rent and just completely, for easy math, if I'm paying $10,000 a year in rent, $40,000 is just poof gone.
Right.
If I buy a house, and first of all, my kid is probably going to be more happy because they've got more freedom and just, can do their own thing. Then they can have the roommates. And so if you've got a mortgage, they can really probably cover the mortgage. Or if not, a lot of parents will even use it and say, hey, that's your spending money, whatever that rent is, to help try them also to pick a responsible roommate that's actually going to pay. And then, like you said, at the end of that term, I can sell it and it will have appreciated or even not. So this is the good safety net that we tell people. Say it doesn't, I don't know where the market's going to be in 4 years. It's anybody's best guess. But even if we are experiencing a downturn, we've got such a strong rental market that you can hang on to it, still at least cover your mortgage if you've got one, or if not, you're still making money. And at the end of that, sell it and get out of it. And so we manage a lot of properties here. I started in property management. So even before I was licensed, I was a bookkeeper for a property management company. And so I have that background to really give people the full picture and say, trust me, you will be kicking yourself if they're just renting for 4 years because, rents are going up like crazy.
Yeah.
And the rental market, as much as people see the housing market appreciating, the rental market is even appreciating in our market faster. So it is a little bit like being on a roller coaster. So hang tight, but I definitely would say purchasing is a better idea.
Love it. So I always end the conversation. Thank you for the conversation, the tips and things of that nature regarding college and potential investments and what the Gainesville market is doing and why you would also want to be part of an association and or community that's bigger than yourself, right? But I always end the conversation with, if you watch streaming series or Hulu, whatever, Netflix or whatever, what is your favorite all-time streaming series and what are you currently watching?
Oh, what am I currently watching? So I will say I do watch some, mindless things. Because sometimes at the end of the day, and like all of us, I don't know, you're working from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. It seems most days, especially in this market where you're just, it's volume trying to even get something under contract, right? So Ozark was definitely a popular series for me. But then I do watch, things like Below Deck, just some, again, mindless, just unwind at the end of the day. But a lot of different like documentaries too. So, but Netflix definitely is popular for me. Anything with crimes, murders.
I think we just finished 1883. If you haven't watched Yellowstone in 1883.
So Yellowstone is one of my favorites. I did not hop on the 1883 bandwagon, but I have watched all of Yellowstone.
So it's much better than Yellowstone. 1883.
Yeah, Yellowstone was getting a little bit much for me. I thought it was a nighttime soap opera, but
yeah, 1883 is a prequel of how the Dutton Ranch came about, and it was phenomenal. I thought it was phenomenal. So, and it's mindless. So,
yep.
Well, Adam, I can't thank you enough for being on here. Really giving us your insight. Congratulations on being NAR's 30 under 30 honoree for 2021. And thank you for all you do for the community, for the leadership, and for the real estate industry. How can we find you?
So my email is Adam Gurske, which is GURSKE.com. And then certainly on Facebook, I don't have a business page, so it's all me personal. So you can find me just at Adam Gurske. And that is it. I'm not on any other social media, or LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn as well. So you can find me, same thing, just Adam Gurske.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. Breakfast with the Broker every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. You guys have a great week. Next week, I will be in Vegas. We will be talking to the CEO and president of RE/MAX, Nick Bailey, and to offer some insight live on location, which we haven't done in a very long time. We will be out in Vegas interviewing Nick. So thank you so much for coming on, Adam. I appreciate it. And we will talk soon.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.